one of the most haunted parts of the ring itself.
Ask if you going in the right direction.
Are you here with us now?
Fear me.
Yeah, and it's actually gone quite dark ahead of me now as well. I'm just going to stand off the path a little second. Just like a little impromptu sort of walk and stroll just around Liverpool. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Dave. I'm one of the hosts for Haunting Nights. It's been a while since I've been on here, admittedly, like obviously with lockdown and COVID and all this kind of stuff. I work in Liverpool. I live just outside the city, but Haunting Nights being a limited company, I'm allowed to be out, so I'm allowed to be doing this, and even if I wasn't, I'm allowed an hour's like exercise, let's say. But yeah, so I've literally just come out of work and I'm on Bold Street right now. Let me just see if I can turn the camera around. Right, so yeah, just lovely little Bold Street, as you can see. Still some people milling about. Yeah, so what it is, I'm just gonna have a little walk towards what is the bombed out church. But the only reason why I started off here, because Bold Street in itself, in regards to Liverpool and its paranormal and everything else like that, is quite an interesting street to be on. It has a history of time slips. So from the 1950s and 60s and so on, people have reported stepping out into the street to go to certain shops and suddenly having a look round, and then those shops are no longer there, and it's like post-war type of scenario. One chap in the 90s, I think it was, actually came here to go to a bookshop, left his wife, walked down the street, and then suddenly realised that he was no longer in 1990s Liverpool. He was in 1940s Liverpool. So yeah, so it's got quite a history to it. And then again, quite an interesting street to be on. But Liverpool being Liverpool, I put it on the part of sort of Edinburgh. Every single street corner has some kind of paranormal sort of story to it. But a very interesting place to be. So yeah, so again, time slips, 1940s. So apparently it's a regular occurrence, which might explain why a lot of people tend to say that they see like figures in old world kind of clothing and so on. It's not so much as seeing the ghosts or anything like that. Maybe these sort of step back in time and whatnot. So yeah, so hi Mandy, hi Jen. Yeah, so you just bear with me 1 second. Like I said, I'm just walking up to the bombed out church, as you can see. On a normal night in Liverpool, if you're out in Liverpool having a lovely little drink, it's the place to be for your taxi. Taxi and kebab. So yeah, you generally come here and wait with every other minion and hope and pray that your taxi turns up first. So just bear with me 1 second. I'm just gonna get myself about here. Like I said, the only reason why I've sort of come this way up, because I'm gonna sort of take you a little bit of the way around here, and then I'm gonna go up to one of our locations that we use for an event. So just bear with me 1 sec. Oh, right. So as you can see, hi Heidi, hi is it Kira? Yeah, hi Heidi and John. Thanks for jumping on and joining me. But yeah, as you can say, Liverpool still got its Christmas lights up, happy days. So yeah, so just walking around the bombed out church. Like I said, I just thought I'd give you a little bit more tonight. Like I said, because I've not spoken to you all in ages, and it's nice to actually be able to speak. So I'm just like I say, I'm just having a little wander, and I'll just tell you a few little bits and bobs as we get round. So, yeah, bombed out church during the Second World War. Obviously, the Germans flew over. They dropped a incendiary bomb, which obviously the church itself is still standing, but the main centre of the church actually ended up catching fire due to that individual bomb, and yeah, it burnt it all out. As you can see, it's a nice little memorial there, which obviously how we like it, you know what I mean? The less walls the better, let's say. Obviously they do actually padlock the church up on the night time, so you can't generally get in, but it is actually a lovely sort of place to come. But like I said, I've only sort of come up this side, because I'm just going to walk around the other end so you can get sort of the back end of it, and then I'm going to just tell you a few bits and bobs, and then I am going to take a walk up another little street. So just bear with me. Let me just give you a view of this. Again, stunning view, lovely kind of place to come. And again, during the summer when we are able to have drinks and stuff, it's a nice little place to come for a little picnic and whatnot. But yeah, so I've come to this part of the church, and there's plenty of ghost stories that sort of I don't know, connected to this church for a better way, which sort of leads on to our locations that we investigate. I'm just going to stand here just for 1 second, just to keep out the cold. Yeah, so there's been many a story of a figure of a man in a top hat and a cloak, and he has been seen many times walking around this church. He tends to be sort of very friendly, very helpful, albeit all a bit weird. So, for instance, one example, in the, I think it was the 80s? I think it was the mid-80s, a young girl went missing, and everyone was looking for her. They couldn't find her, and basically, well, let's say young girl, I think she was a teenager, to be honest. And basically what happened is, it was late at night, the police came along, police were looking for her, and one police officer came into the church and had his torch. He was shining it about. Now, bearing in mind, the church itself is bombed out, like, so there's no rooms, there's no, other than one on the far side, but you can't have any, there's no windows to it or any doorway to it other than going around the other way. Anyway, this police officer's come in, and he's seen this black figure walking out the church with this young girl in his arms. But apparently he has approached the police officer. The police officer basically told him to put the girl down 3 times, never did, and he just dropped her on the floor eventually, but then apparently floated away in a mist. Now, that was a bit weird in its own right, but I think back in the 90s a young girl was reported going missing, and she was found within the church by a man in a black hat and a long cape, and the girl reported that this man had come into the church where she had been playing games and enjoying, well, not so much enjoying, but she feels that she went into a bit of a time slip, and she was with other children, and there was a woman inside the church who was doing handstands and performing all kinds of rituals and so on and so forth, and the young girl believes that she went back into the past. However, this man in black has walked into the church, grabbed her, led her out, and apologised to her parents, and then just disappeared. Now, the only reason why I say this is because one of our locations, a man is reported in a black cap, he is reported with a cape, but yet he is apparently quite friendly to a lot of people. But also, this report from the 90s had a very suspicious lady who was with a bunch of kids. Now, from my point of view, I would put that down to the stories of Jenny Greenteeth, who is, in Liverpool folklore, a witch who would come along, find you, take you away, you basically disappear and you'd be drowned. And that was the way she went about it. So yes, just bear with me 1 second, I'm just going to show you something. And in the distance is where we're going to be going, and that is the cathedral. And opposite the cathedral, obviously, we have St James's Park. So the beauty about that is where I'm heading up to, just to have a little bit of a half an hour sort of scoot about. And it is dark. I am shattered because I've been on work since 6 o'clock this morning. But I'm just going to walk up another street, so just bear with me 1 second. But yeah, so we have this link of this chap and this lady who we have reports in at St James's Cemetery, or St James's Park as it's now known. Hang on a minute, I'll just let these sirens disappear. I'm useless with directions, so I'm hoping I'm going the right way. Right, it's not this street, I think it's the next one over, is it? Oh no, I've actually gone past it. God, how stupid am I? Right, but even so, it's not the streets I want. But again, you can see the cathedral in the distance. Yeah, so I actually want this street. A little street called Rodney Street. Again, Rodney Street has its own little bit of history on ghost hunts and stuff. I mean, was quite an affluent street in the city. I hope you can all hear me. Just apologise to anybody that's saying hello at the moment, because I'm just trying to make sure I don't get run over. But yeah, so if you just look at some of these buildings. So again, this is Rodney Street, one of the more famous streets in Liverpool. You get a lot of doctors and dentists and everything sort of working from here. It's like specialists. So yeah, there's a bit of money on this street. However, man in the black hat, big cape. People seem to think it's a chap called William Mackenzie. Now, William Mackenzie was quite an affluent person. Not sure where his grave is, but he's got a really unusual tomb. It's like a pyramid, and the story goes that he made a deal with the devil in a game of cards, and if he won the game of cards, happy days, he gets what he wants. If he lost, loses his soul. However, when he did pass away, they decided not to bury him. Apparently, they sat him upright in the chair at a table with a pack of cards in front of him. And the only reason they did that was to beat the devil at his own game, I suppose, in that sense. So this chap, this William Mackenzie, bear with me 1 sec, he always wore a black hat, like top hat, always wore a cape, always had a cane. Now there's reports on this street alone that this chap tends to appear as the sun comes up. He walks the street, again, very friendly, helps people out, you know, he will chat away. Now, is William Mackenzie the chap that we sometimes contact at St James's? Because in St James's Park we have a chap who's seen on a regular basis with a black cap and a cape. So is it William walking around having a nosy, seeing what's happening? Because Rodney Street leads straight on to St James's. But also on this street you have a lady who just appears out of what used to be like a sort of, I think it's like a little hospital type of thing, with a young girl, and they tend to wander up and down here as well. Again, it's quite one of the older streets in Liverpool, let's say. So I'm just going to turn the camera around. So hang on 1 sec. Sorry if I'm boring anyone. Well, I say, it's just I thought it'd be easier to walk up here from where my car was and just have a little chat and just sort of go with the flow a little bit. But like I say, I'm actually approaching the cathedral now. You'll see it in a second. Again, hi to everybody. Again, I will apologise that I can't sort of say hello individually, because obviously I'm trying to not end up in, you know, cemetery myself, trying to dodge the buses and stuff. But yeah, just before I get to the end, I'm just going to show you. I mean, some of the houses around here are absolutely stunning. I mean, I'd love to live here. Yeah, so just a quick one. Obviously St James's Park is one of our locations. Now, with the government's lockdown, obviously there's talk of coming out of lockdown. Obviously schools potentially going back first, and then outside venues and so on. Now, obviously, us being us, when the opportunity comes for us to actually get outside and get sort of on these locations and get doing these events again, this is when we've come out, just to give you like another look at what we do, because hopefully you haven't forgot all about us. We are still working hard behind the scenes, and we've got a lot of things sort of coming up, including a new sort of thing that Bradley and Paul have come up with, which is ghost hunting for your family, basically. So it's family orientated events. Obviously we'd do things slightly different, obviously because of the age groups of the kids, but we do truly believe that the kids will actually enjoy this. And after a year's worth of lockdown, let's say, and being stuck at home, it'd be nice to give them something different, something new to do, something that will make them laugh, maybe scare them, obviously, but it is just to give them something different and give them another experience. It's a big world out here, to be honest, and there's only so much Xbox you can play on. Right, so let's walk up Bradley Street. There we go. We have St James's right in front of us. So we've got the cathedral ahead. Again, I'm going to dodge traffic, sort of getting along. Now it is 10 to 6, so I'm only going to be here for like another 20 minutes or so. I don't want to get a parking ticket, plus I want to get home and have a bottle of wine. I've got 2 days off now, happy days. Yeah, so just bear with me 1 second while I walk around. I mean, it's a stunning cathedral. I mean, it's a beautiful inside, and generally when any famous Liverpool type celebrity sadly passes away, you tend to find that everyone congregates here, and this is generally where they come. Now, so let me just turn the camera around again. Right, so bear in mind, I'm going in here on my own, in the dark, with a bloody torch. How clever am I? But just going to point something out. Right, so you got this building here, you got the cathedral there. Believe it or not, back in the day, because I mean the cathedral's not been here that long, back in the day you had a windmill up on here, because just over in sort of that direction, not too far, is the Mersey. So you got quite a few strong winds coming in from that direction, so having a windmill on one of the highest points in the city is an advantage, and this is quite high compared to the rest. So yeah, I'm probably going to shit myself, pardon me French, going down there, and hopefully I don't bump into anybody. I am potentially going to use a spirit box for 10 minutes or so. It may not be too loud, so you may not hear, but what I'm going to ask is, as I'm doing the spirit box, as I'm walking around, I'll try my best to look at your comments. However, try and ask, if you feel like a name comes through, try and send it over to me so I can ask for that name. If you see anyone behind me, tell me, because I'm going to shit myself and run, probably into a tree again. I've got no torch, and yeah, just like I say, I'm going to give it 10-15 minutes or so. Like I said, I'm not going to be here too long. One, it's bloody cold as well, but so I'm just going to start walking down. Like, again, apologies for the wobbly camera, and I hope you can hear me. Ghost hunting history lesson. Yeah, I'm not the best on the history, but I do my best. So again, just gonna sort of, I don't know if I can actually turn the torch on here. Oh, there we are. A bit better. Hey, hashtag winning. Right, so this is one of the main entrances into St James's Park. Hopefully the wind doesn't bother you all too much. Evening to anybody else who's just jumped on with us. As you can see, you've got all these gravestones sort of lining the sides. Now obviously there's no graves underneath my feet, but back in the day this used to be a quarry, and the stone that they dug out of this quarry they actually used on some of the buildings in the city centre, some of the more prominent buildings that are still standing to this day. But back, I can't remember the year now, I think it was the 1700s. Obviously the quarry was sort of left to itself, there was nothing else sort of to do here, and the city needed a graveyard, generally because the amount of illness and death and what have you, they had nowhere to put the people. Now I'm led to believe there's about 56,000 graves actually still on this site. So I think, I'm not sure if it's like 60 or 70% now, I do forget because it's been that long, are children. As you can see, nice spooky little area, but what they did, they had all the graves, and every bit of this area was a grave. There wasn't a bit of grass that you could actually go onto. You can actually Google images of this place and you'll see, other than the pathway, every section of it had a grave on it. So in, I think it was the 70s, they actually closed the graveyard off and turned it into a park, but obviously they had all these gravestones. So what did they do? They used them as decoration. As you can see, they're all the sides. So not all of these gravestones are in place. You do have some, as you can see over here. I say that the ground's very soggy and yeah, muddy, and this idiot put white trainers on. Happy days. So yeah, so I'm just gonna walk you around here. Just hopefully you can hear me. My hands are frozen. I have got a pair of gloves, but I didn't bother putting them on. So yeah, we have a lot of activity. Now over on this side of the graveyard, people have been seen doing satanic rituals. Apparently this is unconsecrated, this side. Now, reason being people think that because they think that there are some witches actually buried over here. Now it's funny that the last time I was actually in this section, there was, I had my spirit box on and it was going off and it was saying hello, it was calling out my name. Yeah, it was a little bit sort of weird, for a better way of putting it. But there's a couple of graves which we normally sort of highlight. So I've just heard the weirdest of noises just above me, so I have no idea. Just heard like a loud bang just from up there. Yeah, strange, odd. But yeah, so in here, like for instance, I'm not going to sort of give you the stories away because you need to come along and book a ticket. You need to come along and join us. But as you can see, there's a lot of sort of Masonic sort of graves, and majority of them have, with Liverpool being a port, a lot of them are from places like the US. A lot of the stories involved that we use and tell you basically are run-ins with other nations like from the US. Again, not going to give details away because the stories are for high night, but another Masonic. Yeah, I just heard that noise again, that was a bit odd. But yeah, a few months back, just prior, this is Liverpool St James's Park. Right, let me just turn the camera around on me. Yeah, I'm probably the scariest thing in here at the moment, until something else jumps out. But yeah, where I'm walking now, I'm just following like the pathway up. Obviously you can see the cathedral behind. I'll just highlight something just quickly. One of our team members, Claire, she took a photo a few months back. It was in this area here. Very hard to see at the moment, but where this tree, I think it's this tree anyway, where this tree is here, we actually have what looks like a figure of an American airman in uniform with his hat looking directly at the camera. So again, a very interesting place, but we were walking around and we were doing like our own little thing before the guests turned up, and we went down to the bottom end, which is the way I'm going now. Let me just get my spirit box out so I know I'm ready. And one of the team members that was with us started to speak German. Well, every response that we got on the spirit box was German. And the only German I know is how to say I love you. Don't ask why, random. But yeah, so just let me just turn this camera around again. Sorry about the flicking to and forth. It's just important that I show you the area. Now if you look here, you've got all these like monuments and graves and so on and so forth. Again, on the images on Google, you tend to find that these are one of the few places that graves still stand. If you look at it, it's like a Harry Potter chess set. That's how I always describe it anyway. So yeah, but apparently we see like a young girl, and a few of our guests have actually reported a young girl running across this side here. So very, very unusual. The cathedral again. Oh, it's cold. I am so looking forward to that bottle of wine when I get home, I'm telling you. Right, so again, apologies if you can hear the wind blowing. I'm trying my best to actually block the microphone just so you can see. So you can hear, sorry, I apologise. Yeah, so one of the chaps that we do try to communicate with in this graveyard is a chap called William Hoskinson. Now, he was a prominent politician in the city, and obviously he had quite a stand-in and such. Anyway, back in the day when the rocket was on Manchester line going to Liverpool and everything else like that. Apparently, one day, Mr. Hoskinson was actually on a rocket and probably going at the ground fast speed of about 15-20 miles an hour, which was unheard of back in the day. Now, he spotted a chap in the crowd. Now, rumour has it was the Duke of Wellington. I don't know how true that is, but rumour has it was. Well, he decided he was going to jump off the train, and as he jumped off the train, he actually got hit by it, mangled his leg, did himself a good injury. A few days later, he passed away due to the treatments and so on and so forth. And his spirit is said to roam this part because his tomb is right there. And obviously, very prominent man, he gets this. Everybody else gets like a little gravestone here, there and everywhere. Now, again, stories go that on an evening you normally see these gates, which are padlocked, as you can see. I don't know if you can sort of see it. It's hard to sort of focus on that. There's not much in there other than the ladder. Probably tried using that to get out. But yeah. On the night time, apparently he is spotted here coming out of these very gates, walking along and walking up and down the path on this side. Now, he normally will say hello to people, but again, he wears a black hat and a long cape. So is he the same person that we were talking, like I was talking about, from Rodney Street and from St Luke's Church, or is it completely someone different? I don't know. But again, another reason to come here and find out. Yeah, there's also a story that people hear screaming on a regular basis. Apparently it's from a guy who committed suicide outside the cathedral, set fire to himself, and on a night time you can sometimes hear that. We've also got like a little, well, there's a guy over there right now, so I won't get too close, obviously restrictions and all that, but there's like a little, how do I call it, like a little stream, and it's like a spring, well, it's a spring actually. So when they were digging the quarry out back in the day, this little thingy of water just suddenly appeared from nowhere, and since the day it's been dug out, it's never stopped, and it's the only natural spring in Liverpool. It has a very high iron content, so I wouldn't actually advise drinking it. However, it was actually used by the locals as treatments for all kinds of illnesses and ailments and things like that. There was a story that if you got some of the water and you boiled it, it would actually turn black. Tried and tested, doesn't happen. But there's also a story about, again, Jenny Greenteeth. Now, is she the lady that was down at St Luke's Church with this bunch of girls and kids and so on in a bit of a time slip? She has been reported to come here and abduct children and then drown them in the Mersey or anywhere else where she could find a bit of water. Now, if that's the case, she gets about a bit, I'll tell you that much. But yeah, she's like a haggard kind of witch looking thing, and yeah, apparently she'll just approach children and just sort of have a way with them. There are, I'll see if I can actually find it actually, just give it a second. There are some graves here, again, as I was pointing out, a lot of the graves are actually just decoration now, more than anything. But a good majority of, like I said before, of the graves, the children are buried here, there's about 60-70%, maybe more. Very sad. I mean, but again, what you got to look at, Liverpool had a massive like sort of port, and you had a lot of children coming in from other countries whose parents were like killed at sea and what have you, and the city decided that they had a responsibility. Let me just turn the camera around and see if I can find these graves. Had a responsibility to look after these children, hence why there is quite a few asylums, orphanages, around the city. Just bear with me one sec, I can never remember where they are. I think they're down this way a bit. The orphanages obviously would take these children and, oh, here we are, and they'd actually obviously care for them. However, caring for a child in an orphanage, say for instance in these days, is completely different like to back in those days. I mean, again, if you look at the ages, 14, 9, 10, 11, 12, so on, and then you start going into the 3 years, 10 months, 1 year, so on. And again, Liverpool Infant Orphanage, you got Liverpool Orphan Boys Asylum, the Liverpool Female Orphan Asylum, what's this one, the Liverpool Blue Coat Hospital. So again, you look at like some of the ages, 12, 13, 14, very sad, very, very sad. But yeah, a lot of people were buried here, majority of the kids. However, there is a story from back in the day that even though you got all these graves and so on and so forth around, most of the graves were open pits. So you'd have, there was one report of one grave having 250 bodies in. It was open, and all they did was throw lime over the top of it, or over the top of the poor unfortunate people inside. Again, they were just left open to all the elements, and the people that live up on Rodney Street and the Huskington Street and so on and so forth complained that there was a green mist and a smell rolling through the area, to the point then that they had to come down and sort of investigate, and sure it was, there was an odd mist that filled the whole graveyard, and the smell of death and decay was all over the place. So they obviously decided to fill in. So one thing you have got is mass graves which are a lot deeper down to accommodate all the bodies, but then filled in, and then you've got more bodies buried above them which were then marked graves. So again, despite this location, 56,000 bodies buried here. And I know I'm sort of smirking about it now, but you would not think it if you looked at the size of it. It's just bizarre, absolutely bizarre. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to walk over to where I was before, and I'm just going to chuck the spirit box on just for 5-10 minutes, and then hopefully we can sort of, well, try and get something. No guarantees that they will. The one thing with us as a company, we do not fake anything. If something happens, it happens. If something scares me, I'm going to shit myself and run. I'm not going to drop my phone though, because that's expensive. I will Blair Witch the shit out of this. Seriously, I'll have a runny nose, tears down my eyes, and yeah, it's a good job there's nobody with me, because I would just leave you for dead. Yeah, because I'm great like that. Oh, so it is cold, it's freezing, absolutely freezing. So there's just like a odd light in the distance. I don't know where that's coming from. Yeah, so I'm just going to go over to this side. Like I said, I'm just going to have 10 minutes with the spirit box and just see what we get. And I'm sorry, I hope I'm not boring anyone, but this is great for me. It's been ages since I've been out and locked down, and again, I am working, so I'm allowed. I'm allowed to be here. But yeah, as I said before, what I want you to do, God, I thought there was someone stood there, I almost shit myself. What I want you to do is, because I'm not walking as of this moment, I'll be able to look at your comments, I'll be able to sort of see what you're saying. If you hear anything, put it up. If you see anything, tell me when I've got home. But if you come up with a name, or if anything sort of comes through, again, let me know. I'll see if I can work with it, and you'd be surprised. Oh, that was close. There's a nice big sort of bit of dog mess, you know what I mean? As they say, shit for luck, but I dodged it. So I'm just gonna stand by this tree. Tend to get a little bit of action in the graveyard. I mean, it has been a while, you know what I mean? But yeah, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to say hello to everybody for joining us again, and hopefully, like I say, you've enjoyed your little walk around with me. And I'm just going to turn this on now, and I'm just going to put it into a sweep reverse, get the volume up a little bit. If you do, like I say, if you do hear something, please say, and hopefully we can work with it. Hang on. And suddenly my spirit box isn't working. It's powered. Oh, there we are, it's working now. Right, so can anybody online just sort of tell me if you can actually hear the spirit box? Can you hear the spirit box? Can anyone tell me if you can? Right. Loud and clear. Thank you, Sandra, I appreciate that. Okay. Even though it's a bit of a noisy contraction, it's probably better than listening to me, to be honest. Right, so I'm just gonna, cheers Claire, I'm just gonna call out, but again, hi Carrie, yes, thank you, brilliant. But again, what I want, hi Mandy, thank you. Yeah, what I want you to do is, if you hear a voice, hear a word, hear a conversation, hi, thanks Sue, tell me, and I'm just going to call out and just see if we can get anything, just for 10 minutes. Like I say, it's 6:15, so I'll probably finish about 6:30. Alright, thanks Emily, appreciate it. What's her name then, to be honest. That's what's her page. Right, hi, thanks Amanda, yeah. Used to live down that end of the tunnels, walk through St James's. Yeah, it's a very interesting place. Right, so if there are any spirits here with me, anyone who wishes to come forward and communicate, I've not been here for a couple of months now, so come forward and say hello. Can you say hello to me? Can you say hello to me? Can you say hello? My name's David. Can you come say hello to me? I just got myself and I realised it was an Uber Eats. Can you come and say hello to me? My name's David. I'm not here to disrespect you, I'm just here to communicate with you. Can you say hello to me? Or can you tell me your name? What's your name? Yeah, okay, it's a great place to come. Can you tell me your name, please? Again, my name's David. I'm not here to offend or upset you, I'm just here to have a little chat for 10 minutes. Come say hello. Can you say hello? Nice and clear for you. Sounds like a dog. Are you happy that I'm here? Yes or no? Would you like me to leave? Well, I thought I heard go, to be honest. Would you like me to leave? Is that what you want? Well, I heard a yes then. If you want me to leave, tell me who you are. Tell me who I'm speaking to. Just out of respect. I've got respect for you. Just out of respect for me. Tell me who you are. And I'll look at leaving. Can you give me your name? You think you heard Connor? Is your name Connor? Thomas and Robert. Seeing that two different names all around. Okay. Is Thomas here with me? Is Thomas here with me? Or Robert? How about Robert? Robert here? Or are you one of the same? Yep. I heard yeah, then. You heard Robert. Now, there's a few people just sort of walking by as well at the moment, so there's a few sort of background noise just so. How about Michael? Is Michael here? If Michael's here, can you say hello? Or if Robert wants me to leave, can Robert tell me to go? Can Robert tell me to go? If you want to speak to me, if you want me to leave, Robert, you need to speak to me, just say, go. Oh, do you like me to stay? I'm happy to stay. It is cold, but I am happy to stay. I just said why something, I don't know. Are you asking why I'm here? Hi Paul, Dave, I've been listening in the car while driving home, got the volume up, 2 separate voices said hello, one said hello Dave and one wanted to go. Calling me ex-wife. To be honest, with the spur box, with the spur box it's hard for me to hear, but some of them are quite clear, but obviously from your side you may hear better than me. Yes. So, now I've just heard my name. I did just hear David then. Clear. Very clear. I don't know if anybody else heard that. If you heard it, let me know. Robert said yes please. Now, I'm assuming Robert wants me to leave. So if Robert, you want me to leave, say my name and just tell me to go. If you want me to sod off, I'll sod off. Well, if you want to do it, Scouse, and tell me to do one, I'll do one. Can you tell me to do one? You said yes to wondering why you're here. Right, so if Robert wants to understand why I'm here, I'm here out of respect, but just to speak to you, just want to know if there is life beyond this life. Just curious, again. Probably short for Robert, yeah, so there could be that. Do you prefer Bob or do you prefer Robert? Are you buried here? Is this where you were laid to rest? Do you have a marked grave? Or were you one of the unfortunate ones to be buried in the pit with many others? Like I say, I'm not here to disrespect you, I'm just here to understand and learn all about you. I thought I heard my name again, but a female voice saying it. Oh God, I almost fell over. So I'm just having a sort of little wander around here. Just clear as day, yes or no, are you happy that I'm here? I'd like you to say yes or no, clear as day, are you I just heard Robert then. Are you happy that I'm here? Yes or no, clear as day. If you're happy that I'm here, I'll stay and chat for 5 more minutes. If you're not, I'll be happy to leave. You heard the name Anne. Was it Carrie Richardson? Yes, okay, I can ask for Anne. Let's see what happens. Is the female here? Is Anne here with me? Is Anne here? So I'm just having a wander through. Do you want to speak to us? Do you want to just come forward and say hi? If I get close to your grave, just say the word stop. So that actually happened to me. I took a little trip to New York. I went to the World Trade Center, the new one, One World Trade. Well, I went to the memorial pools, and as I was walking around, as clear as day in my ear, something just said stop, and I did. And I looked down, and right in front of me was the exact same name as mine, including my middle name, of a chap who passed away. He was the same age as me, we had the same career, and so on and so forth, and I felt obliged to go into the museum where they have a memorial section where you could actually obviously find out who these people were, but then you could also sort of learn about their life and what they did in the World Trade, and you know what, it was quite humbling, quite an experience to actually hear that said to me. So, but yeah, it was very interesting that, because it was as clear as day. Stop, I looked down, and there you go. Oh god, my hands are freezing. Right, Rob, are you around here? Are you around here? Are you here with us? Are you still here, or is Anne here? What's that someone said there? Female said there. That's Tara. Hi Tara, hope you're okay. Michael Hartley heard Michael. Well, Michael's a common one on this go guide. I've spoken to Michael before over here. Carrie Richardson heard Get Off. Never heard that said to me before. But again, it's interesting that you've actually heard that. Claire Griffiths, hi Claire, I said stay. Now, I don't know whether you're asking me to stay or whether you're saying that's what they're asking me. But I'll tell you what, Claire, it's bloody cold. Just trying to see if I can actually. William John Roberts. Well, yeah, so I think I just heard the word stay. I'm just going to sort of come back over to where I was just before, where it's all like the demonic rituals and so on, and shadowy figures have been seen around here. Very interesting story with that one. Like I say, it is 26 minutes past, so I'm going to stop in a minute because it is blinking freezing. And I'm glad you're all sort of still with me, even though I can't see anything else. But yeah, so I'm going to be leaving in a second. Can you come forward to me, whether you're Robert, whether you're Anne, people in next to tree? Well, sort of tree hugging. If Anne, Michael, Robert, or any other spirit is here with me and we wish to communicate, can you just come forward? I'm going to leave you in peace with the utmost respect, but it'd be lovely if you could say goodbye to me. Can you do that? Can you say goodbye? Get a hot brew, Dave. Mate, I am getting a glass of wine when I get in, not a brew. I'm looking forward to a hangover in the morning. Yeah, can you come forward and say goodbye to me? Well, ask me to leave. And pardon my French, and excuse me to anybody who's on watching the group at the moment. Tell me to F off. If you want me out of the graveyard, tell me to F off. Tell me to go. Can you do that? Can you do that for me? I won't be offended. If you want me to go, just say, tell me to go. Again, my name's David. Just come forward and just say goodbye to me. Can you do that? She said no. So my wife. And it seems it does seem powerful, doesn't it? In the local wildlife, i.e. teenagers. you're going to say goodbye to them. Okay, I've got to go home now, but I don't want to leave without saying goodbye to you, so can you say goodbye to me? Anything? Possible bye then. But I will be back. Would you like me to come back? Because you're just not in the mood to chat tonight. Would you like me to come back another time and speak to you? Would you like me to do that? Would you like me to come back another time and speak to you? Lots of voices in the background. Jeez. Yeah. I'm going to get back on to 5:30 and I'm going to go. Yeah, so just come forward, just say goodbye. Okay, just one simple word. I don't know how simple it is for you. Obviously, it's simple for me. But just come say goodbye, and I will go. So you're hearing saying go. Right, well, I'm going to leave you there. I'm going to leave this area. I'm just going to say goodbye to you all. Even though you haven't really communicated too much with me, I will still say thank you and I appreciate it, and I will leave you in peace. So I just heard that say bye as I was going then. Right, so I'm just going to turn that off just for a second, get that in my pocket so I don't fall over. Yeah, so obviously I've been on for probably about 40 minutes actually, just like chatting away and hoping everyone's good, and I hope everyone's doing well. To be fair, you can't see where I'm going here. Yeah, so I'm hoping everyone's doing well. Definitely by just a quick sort of 2 minutes on, like, obviously ourselves and where we're hoping to be. Like I said before, once the lockdown starts to get eased, and it's great that the vaccines and all this kind of stuff is happening now, and there's a little bit of positivity, and we can hopefully look forward to getting out and outside and doing the outside events, and then hopefully later on in the year, which is normally our best time of the year, like October, November, December type of times, when it's nice and dark and bloody cold, we can sort of get out and get into locations, like proper locations, into the buildings. I know of a few that we're actually looking at, which will be amazing. So keep an eye out on our Facebook page and on our website. But yeah, so it is all a case of we are working like behind the scenes to keep these events sort of fresh and up and running. Once we are told and we're given the go ahead to actually go back to events like outside, we are a COVID safe company. Again, your health and safety is paramount to us, so it is important that we do everything like by the book, and obviously that does help when it comes to actually doing these events. It will be great to actually see guests again. It would be great to interact with you all. It would be great to actually be in locations like this and see what you get. I mean, we're here obviously to investigate. We're here to give you your time to see what you can actually get. Yes, you may get scared. Yes, you may get cold, but the main thing is it's about having a laugh, enjoying it, and just taking it as it is, and just enjoying the night for what it is. We're a cracking bunch of people. We'd like to have a laugh with you all. We are so interested in your stories as well. So talk to us, you know what I mean? Get onto our Facebook page, if you're not already. Get onto our Instagrams, I should say, and all that kind of stuff. Give us your stories, chat away. With the events, when we do get started, obviously, depending on what Mr. Boris says, I mean, that may be the only bind on how many people we can have, but we will do our best by yourselves. But yeah, go on to the Haunted Nights website, hauntednights.co.uk. Like I said, we are looking at the family friendly events, so hopefully maybe during the summer we're able to do them. I don't know. Obviously that's not down to me to do. Anyway, that's Bradley and Paul's baby, that is. But yeah, that'll be very fun and interesting to have parents and the children come along and do a little bit of ghost hunting in like some of these places that we get to go to. I was just in a shadow walk across then, that was a bit weird. So yeah, and I mean obviously we have our outside events, which is Edinburgh for instance. Hopefully we might be there like in March. That'll be a great one to sort of get to. I know that's like Bradley loves doing that one, so yeah. We have all the other locations like Eam. What else did we do? It's been so long since we got out and done these things. Yeah, hopefully we can get back into places like the Haunted Objects Museum, when we're allowed to go into buildings. Like I say, we have got a few locations that are coming up, so again, have a look on the Facebook page, keep an eye out, because there's going to be a few surprises popping up on there, which I'm sure you as guests will enjoy. We do try to keep it the cost of them as cheap as possible, but obviously it just depends on the location. But I can guarantee, like, no matter what, you'll have a cracking night with us, because that's what it's all about. If you're having a good night, we're having a good night. Simple as. There's probably loads of stuff that I need to tell you, and do you know what, I'm so cold I can't remember any of it, other than I'm going on getting drunk. But yeah, I just want to say thank you for everybody jumping on. Thank you for just listening to me babble on, and yeah, it's been absolutely refreshing to actually be out here and doing something that I love to do. And the other thing that I love to do is be around you guys and like hosting the events and having a laugh and a joke and enjoying the night for what it is. I'm just going to walk out of here now. I almost fell over that then. But yeah, so I just want to say thank you for sort of jumping on and sort of experiencing St James's Cemetery, well, St James's Park as it is now, with me. Yeah, none of you said there was anyone stood behind me, so that's a plus. So I'm just walking out of here now. God, my 45-year-old legs are killing. Right, hang on, I'm just trying to see what it is. See, thank you for being out in the freezing cold. Yeah, well, I was working in the area, so it would be rude not to come here. And you know what, I've absolutely enjoyed it. But again, thank you for all your comments. Thank you for jumping on. Thank you for, like I say, mentioning the names and so on and so forth behind. I say just walk backwards. Just for a sec. But yeah, it's been a very interesting sort of 45 minutes. Didn't expect it to be this long, sort of coming out. Again, beautiful view. Oh God, I'm puffing out my backside. But yeah, so again, have a look on our Facebook page, have a look on our Instagram and Twitter and all that lot. Look at the up and coming events. Keep an eye out on how the restrictions are lifted. Hopefully we do get a nice sort of opportunity to get you guys with us, get you out here, get you investigating with us, because we do miss you, believe it or not, and I know quite a few of you have missed ghost hunting and whatnot. And yeah, get back to a little bit of normality. A lot of people will look at us and go, ghost hunting's not normal, but it is to us, so that's what matters. But I'm going to say thank you all for jumping on with me and listening to me babbit on. And I will say enjoy the rest of the week, stay safe, stay healthy, and yeah, just keep hunting, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Alright, so I'll say thank you very much and good night. I'm going on getting drunk. See you later, bye now, bye bye.